In July, a free product design workshop will be open to persons in the Federation. It will be hosted by a St. Kitts and Nevis national, Chavez Brucker. Chavez is currently the product design lead at Facebook and Meta, and today we have the pleasure of once again welcoming Chavez to Good Morning SKN, this time to hear all about this upcoming workshop. Good morning, Chavez. Welcome back to Good Morning SKN.
Thank you guys for having me again. Good morning.
You're welcome. So right off the bat, we want to elaborate on the field of product design. Was there anything in particular that motivated you to host this workshop here in the Federation?
Yeah, the thing that first kicked off me wanting to actually do this was the fact that a recruiter at Meta in our London office reached out to me and was like, hey, do you know any product designers in St. Kitts that we could hire because there's a shortage of them over in the UK. And it's much easier for us to go to the UK and work there than it is for us to come to America being Kittitians. Okay. And I searched and I tried finding some people, but unfortunately, I couldn't find anyone. And so at that point, I was like, okay, I need to do something because this would be an amazing opportunity for people at home to have, even without going to college, to be able to work for a place like Facebook. So that's what started this whole thing.
I love it. I mean, that's such a great opportunity. I'm glad that you were the person that they contacted, because were it anybody else, we might not be talking about this workshop today, so this is great. So tell us about the format of the workshop and what skills persons will learn over, I think it is a 5-week period. It's impressive, Chavez. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so it's a 5-week period starting from July 4th to August 6th. And we'll be doing evenings 6:30 to 8, so that's about an hour and a half each evening from Monday to Friday. And the reason for that is I want to make sure that at the end of this workshop, they not only have an idea of what product design is, but that they actually have a chance to practice it and put whatever new knowledge that they would gain from this into practice. And at the end of the workshop, we will actually have a friendly competition, so to speak, that would pit groups of the students together to come up with a potential solution to a potential issue that we face within the Federation. And that way people can get a chance to win a few prizes at the end, keep them motivated. But I think the biggest thing that I would want to emphasize is that it's going to be rigorous. It's not necessarily going to give them all the skills they need to get a job right away, but it will enable them to be much further ahead than others who wouldn't have taken a workshop like this.
Okay, that's great news. So you're only looking for 12 participants. Why only 12, and how will you vet your applicants or the applicants?
Yeah, so the reason for 12 is twofold. One, this is my first time doing this, and I want to make sure that the experience is rich enough for people to walk away with enough learnings. And I didn't want to invite too many people and then I start struggling with managing all of the feedback and all that stuff. So I wanted to do 12 because that would also allow for 4 groups when it came to the final project for the competition. And so to avoid stretching myself too thin, but also making sure that these students would have the attention, the quality of attention that they would need in order for this to be a success for them. But the hope is next year, through hopefully getting more sponsorship for the program, I'll be able to scale it to probably more like 30 people, should we have that level of interest.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you are thinking about next year, because it seems as though you're prepared to have multiple cohorts going forward based on the need that you observed. Is that correct?
Definitely. Multiple cohorts, definitely. Because the thing about product design is, when you hear product design, the first thing you think is product designer, which is what I am. But product design also involves UX researchers, so the people who actually talk to end users and so forth to get a sense of what they actually need. We have content strategists, the people who actually decide what word will be in this button, or what text should we use, or how long should this paragraph be. Those are the three main components when it comes to product design. It's working with a researcher and a content designer to pull that entire experience together for it to make sense for the end user. So as much as I'm trying to get product designers out of this go around, there may be somebody within this cohort that actually doesn't fall in love with the visual design aspect of product design, but they fall in love with the UX research aspect of product design. And that may be something that they didn't know before, but now they're unable to uncover that. And then they can decide if they want to go out and do online courses, workshops, even go to university and study this thing to then pursue that career if it's a passion of theirs.
I like the fact that they don't have to just stick to product design, as you mentioned, and they can branch out from there. So,
yeah.
So you said they aren't going to be able to get jobs right after they would have completed this course, but will their names be sent to various organizations overseas that can probably put them in the pool to call them for jobs eventually?
So what I'm working on right now is potentially finding ways to work with recruiters to get people internships. Should I sort of see that there are some people in this cohort who are exceptional at doing this, then I could go ahead and actually work with a recruiter, whether that's at Meta or some other company, to try to see if they could get an internship. Okay. Because it'll still be based on their output. This could be their first time and they're exceptional, and that's great. But the chance of this being introduced to somebody that's never thought about product design or doesn't even have a creative side to them already, it can be difficult to say after 5 weeks you'll be equipped enough to get hired. And so I want to be super realistic about that possibility. Yeah. So on the website, where people go to enroll in the program, that form that they have to fill out, that has I've put certain questions in there as a way for me to help filter out who would be best suited for this program, based on their level of interest, based on their willingness to commit to the time, and based on the answer to the question that I have about what is one way that technology could improve something about the Federation. And so one, the fact that the form is a bit long, that will weed out people who feel like, I don't have time for this. And then two, the answers to those questions will help me get a sense of if this person might be committed to actually seeing this program through the 5 weeks.
So how important, Chavez, is time when it comes to this crash course?
How important is time?
Yes.
Extremely important. Like, okay. The way each evening is going to run is we're going to have like just a few minutes of theory, I guess, making sure they understand the definitions and the reasons why we make why we have certain stages in the design process. But most of the time will be spent hands-on, actually designing mobile apps with me each night, and so the students will have about 2 to 3 projects when it comes to mobile app design. The biggest one being the challenge or the competition at the end, and hopefully I've set up one of my partners here at Meta to actually, if time permits, to actually teach an augmented reality design piece at the very end, where students in this cohort would be able to create their first Instagram augmented reality filter. And so that's sort of pushing the direction of product design isn't just about flat 2D things on your phone, but product designers are also spearheading the charge for experiences like augmented reality, virtual reality headsets, etc. And hopefully students get a taste of that and want more. So that's something as well that would happen at week 5.
you're making this workshop more interesting by the second you know Chavez. I'm pretty sure that by the time we're done with this interview, you're going to get more hits. More people are going to be driven to that website to fill out that form, even though it's on, because it's very engaging and interesting, that field in particular. So we talked to you a little bit about the benefits that the students would have to say this, while participating in this course, would reap for them. And there was a question that I had for you as to what those benefits are, but I don't want to preempt their answers. So I think unless you can say something very generally that you didn't say before, we'll move on. But what do you think the benefits are overall, particularly for you?
So to me, the benefits are, one, if there's been interest in this before, they'll be able to have a full-fledged idea of what it is to live a day in the life of a product designer and what that career would look like. But also, this would enable people locally to do two things that would be amazing. One, with the knowledge that they'll gain from this, they could actually design their own products. Building is something else I'll get into at another year, but they'll be able to design their own products similar to what I have done with my own products. And also, they may say, you know what, I don't ever want to leave St. Kitts, which I don't want to push people to leave St. Kitts, but they could stay within St. Kitts, develop their skills on their own, doing tutorials, etc., and work for companies outside that want to outsource product design work and make really good money doing that, staying and living in St. Kitts. And so my hope is that one of those things will happen for anyone that attends this workshop.
Incredible. It's a great opportunity, I have to say again, Chavez. So thank you for organizing it.
Definitely.
Other than the requirements that you mentioned early for the workshops, is there anything else that you did that you forgot to mention concerning signing up?
Yeah, so the people must be between 18 to 35 years old. Okay. The reason for that the reason for that age limit is, should I be able to get anyone into an internship, the company would need for them to be at least 18 years old. Okay. And the reason for capping it at 35 years old is just because thinking about people who are at that age, they're probably already like knee deep in a career back home, and asking people to come out and consider, people who might be considering a new career, that's still at the age where they might be doing so, versus someone that's at like 40, 45. It may be a little more difficult for them to consider a career change at that point. Okay. And then also, they need to have a computer, so whether that's a Windows or Mac computer, preferably something within the past, preferably a computer that's that came out in the past 3, 4, 5 years. Okay. They have to have a reliable internet connection, because this will be done over Zoom for the first 4 weeks, and the last week will be in person in St. Kitts. So they need to be able to like walk with the laptop, etc. Okay. And they need time to commit. Again, that's super important, because if they miss 2 days out of a week, they've missed a lot. And we're going to be moving super fast. Okay. And so those are the basic requirements for joining, I would say.
Chavez, you're killing me here. That age limit, you are killing me with the age limit. You are so killing me. In any event, the good thing is, no, that's fine. It's all good. It's all good. The good thing is that because of our relationship, you and Good Morning SKN, I'll probably just ask one of the camera guys to let me in on their pass, and we'll come see what's going on. All right. So let's talk again about the presentation at the end of the workshop. Will this be a presentation to the public, or yes. Will this be? It will be to the public. Okay.
Yes, that's where all of this will really come together well, because the biggest goal is really to introduce this to people in the Federation, and it's hard to do that with just 12 people. And so the way it's set up is that these 12 people will help to amplify what is possible with the field. But that last event, which will happen on August 6th at the Credit Union Conference Center in Fort Lands, That's where everybody from the public can come. They'll get a chance to actually play with the designs and prototypes that the students will create, and they'll also get a chance to vote on which of the group's products should win the challenge, etc. So that's where everyone will really get a chance and a sense of what this thing really entails.
Awesome.
Okay, so Chavez, can you remind us of the date and registration process for this workshop?
Yes, so you can go to www.accesshub, that's AKSESHUB.com, and click on the workshops link, and that will take you to the form where you can fill out the form, enroll, and you should be receiving an email as to whether or not you were accepted in this cohort by the end of this week. The deadline to sign up is this Thursday. So please be sure to sign up before then if you're interested in getting in. And yeah, you'll be notified by early next week as to whether or not that happened.
Yeah. How early next week for those who might be excited and anticipating an answer?
They'll receive something by Monday of next week as to whether or not they got in.
Okay.
And then from that point, I'll be in touch with them through WhatsApp, etc., making sure that they have all the software and so forth set up so that when we do start on July 4th, we have all of that out of the way already.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Okay, good stuff.
Shav, it's always a pleasure catching up with you.
Sorry for my poor co-host.
Good luck.
I just want to...
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
I guess I would just like to give a special shout out and thanks to our very first sponsor, The Cable.
Okay.
This workshop is really, it perfectly aligns with their vision for digitization within the Federation. And I've worked with them in the past, and it's always been a delightful experience. So I'm really happy to be on board with them to actually make this workshop happen.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love the partnership. I love what we're getting out of it. Thank you so much, Chavez. Great catching up with you. Best of luck in the workshop. Of course, you're going to keep us posted as to how it's progressing. And you're going to be here in the Federation, so we'll stay close, definitely.
Yeah, actually, I would like to invite both of you to come to that final event to see exactly what has transpired throughout that time. So this is my special invite to both of you to be there on August 6th. So put it on your calendars right now so you don't forget.
Thanks.